Rimane is the debut album from Italian artist Cosimo Querci, who I came across recently on Bandcamp, and I wanted to do a review to hopefully bring him some more recognition, because this is an interesting and very unique album, and that he brings together a lot of really disparate influences, such as some trip hop and by extension dub influences on the production side, as well as some bossa nova that's delivered with a krautrock intensity. And we're introduced to each of these things one at a time on the first track, which starts off with a very smacky guitar part with a very incessant rhythm on one chord before introducing a traditional bossa nova beat underneath it and some spacey, swirly synths on top of it that create a very hypnotic and hazy dreamscape that's very hard not to get lulled into over the succeeding 5 minutes. That atmosphere is also doubled down on the following track, which starts off with this really pretty guitar arpeggio that's very loose on what time signature it wants to be in, as is the next few minutes of the song that shifts between time signatures quite a bit without really any attention drawn to either of them other than the fact that they have different grooves. But he allows each of these time signatures to really exist kind of in their natural habitat without having to coerce them out of whatever rhythms or melodies happen to be going on at the moment. Every part of it still has a pulse and it grooves and it feels comfortable. And that's about the first 2 minutes of the song before we get to really what is kind of the main groove of it, which isn't quite a chorus or a refrain, but it feels like some other kind of point of arrival, which feels very rewarding after the first couple minutes, because while there was always a pulse going on, it feels like we've finally discovered the thing that we knew was in the song all along. The third track probably draws the most directly from krautrock with a drum beat that's straight out of a Tego Mango era Can song. And this song continues to play with time signatures a little bit, having a 4/4 section followed by a section that's got a 2/3 polyrhythm before committing fully to the 3/4 time signature. But it's the first half of the song that's in 4/4 that actually plays the most with time. Phrasing is kind of all over the place and just kind of starts and ends where it happens to start and end, causing him to outline some phrases like it's in 4/4, but some other phrases like they're in 6/4. Sometimes even where he ends the phrases makes it feel like the snare drum is switching from the 2 and the 4 to the 1 and the 3, making for this kind of weirdly fluid dance track, which is similar to what we get on the fourth track, which feels the most trip hop influenced. And the first 6 minutes of the song I'm totally on board for. They're grooving. It's by far the fastest and more straightforward of a dance track than anything we've had so far, but the last 4.5 minutes are just kind of a glorified fade out. The drums cut out, and then the last third of the song is just each instrument slowly dissipating one at a time. It doesn't really add anything to the song, especially when we have these kind of fast, intense motoric rhythms. I really prefer just an abrupt ending that rips it out from under you, as opposed to 4.5 minutes of less and less and less of what we've already gotten. But that does lead us into what is a pretty strong closer, in my opinion, in that it's basically a perfect distillation of all of the best influences and concepts of the album, condensed into the shortest runtime of the song, being just under 4 minutes. It also adds this march-style snare drum on top of it, which I think works really well, highlighting both the krautrock and the dub influences. So yeah, overall, I think it's a great album. I would recommend it. It's a good time.